Now, there are tons of exciting new motorcycles rumoured for release later this year, and so here are my picks of the best. First up, we've got a collaboration between Triumph and the Indian manufacturer Bajaj Auto. This one's been in the works for some time, and we've seen a couple of bikes spied out testing so far. So one will be a baby Bonneville-style roadster around the 400cc mark, and the other a more rugged-looking Scrambler-style bike based upon the same platform. Now, I actually saw one of the Scramblers out in the flesh testing in the UK, and I've got to say, it actually does look pretty good. It should be great competition for Royal Enfield's Scram 411 and the new Honda CL500. And on the one hand, these bikes will help Triumph grow their business in Asian markets where smaller capacity bikes are most popular, but also it should offer a lower price point for newer riders here in the UK wanting to get a piece of the Triumph brand. Now, the latest on this is that Bajaj's CEO, Rajiv Bajaj, recently let slip that the launch date for these new bikes is imminent, so he says the 27th of June this year. As always, we'll be covering it in full detail, so keep your eyes peeled for it and do hit subscribe if you've not already for all the latest motorcycle news right here on YouTube. Anyway, I'm going to score this one an A on the excitement scale because it's an all new bike. In fact, there's two of them, and you know we love a Triumph here at MOTOBOB, so the more the merrier. Now, next up, we've got the Royal Enfield Shotgun 650, which has been spotted out testing multiple times recently, and I'm specifically looking forward to this one because I've been recently reviewing the new Super Meteor 650, which is a really comfy cruiser style bike. Absolutely love it, but there's just one problem with it, and that's the forward foot controls, which are just never to my taste on any cruiser. For my personal taste, mid-position controls feel much more comfortable, and that's where the Shotgun comes in. It's basically a stripped back Super Meteor with mid-position controls, which I think will make it more sporty to ride, but also a little bit more comfy because you can lift your weight off the saddle more easily when you're on rough roads or potholes or speed bumps. Now, Enfield already showed off the SG650 concept at EICMA a few years back, so I'd expect something similar looking to this, if not a little less fancy. And then also, the bike in the spy shots looks pretty far along in terms of development, so I'd expect perhaps later this year, maybe at EICMA 2023. And of course, we'll be there again covering it in full depth, so again, another good reason to hit subscribe if you're not already. Now, this bike, I am really looking forward to it, and I think I will prefer it to the Super Meteor, but I'm gonna have to go for C for excitement levels because it's just a small tweak to an existing model. Possibly my favorite concept motorcycle though from the launch season last year was this absolute peach from MV Agusta. This is the 921S, and it's sort of a neo-retro looking thing powered by a new 921cc inline-4 engine. Now, the design detail on this bike is absolutely incredible, and so if the finished article looks anything like this prototype, I'll be absolutely desperate to get one here in the studio for review. On the one hand, it looks super modern and sleek and clean, but also you got plenty of clear references back to MV's heritage with the shapes of the bodywork and the red, blue and silver paint scheme. Now, the good news is that it absolutely will make it to production. This isn't just a showcase prototype. Filings in the US with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration show that they're planning both a 921S version, which I assume will be this cafe racer style clip-on naked that we see in these images, but also a 921 GT variant, which I reckon will be flat bars and perhaps a two-up friendly seating setup. Really hyped about this one, and it does look like it might be another addition to my list of bikes in my dream garage, so a firm A+ on the excitement scale. At the same time, BMW are also bringing something new to the retro market with their updated R9T, except this time it's going to be called the R12 9T. Now, this is a line of bikes that we've covered plenty on the channel, and thankfully a lot of the rudiments, including the air and oil-cooled Boxer twin engine, look like they'll be much the same, but there is a new frame design which will give it a much tidier appearance, and also a complete revision of the bodywork like the tank, the side panels and the seat hump, which give it a slightly more old-school look that harks back to the R90S of the 1970s. Now, interestingly, they also claim that they've made this bike more modular than before, so more parts are interchangeable, which should open it up to customizations made from parts offered directly from BMW. This one is slated for a full reveal in November, and again, we'll be covering it in full detail as soon as we get hold of them, and I'm gonna go B levels for excitement here. The looks are a big improvement in my opinion, but I do think it's gonna be pretty much the same to ride. Now, before we get on to the next bike, I just want to say a massive thanks to Manscape for sponsoring this video, and they just sent me their performance package to check out, which offers a bunch of their best products all in one box. So you get the headliner, the lawnmower, Lawnmower 4.0 body hair trimmer, which features their anti-nick skin-safe tech, as well as this handy little LED light so you can see exactly where you're trimming away. On top of that, there's the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, which has 360-degree blades and the same skin-safe tech, and if you've ever nicked the inside of your nose, you'll definitely know about it. Now you get their Crop Preserver ball deodorant and Crop Reviver ball toner spray, and for a limited time, you'll get 2 free gifts. Firstly, their Shed travel bag, which I think looks super stylish, and then also a pair of their anti-chafing boxers, which I think are mega comfy, and that's much appreciated when you're on the bike. So head to the link in the description and use my promo code and you'll get 20% off, plus free international shipping, plus the 2 free gifts. So once again, a massive thanks to Manscape for their support. Now next up, we've got the Yamaha R9, a bike that's been rumoured for release for a couple of years now, and it's easy to see why there's so much hype if you've ever ridden any of the other bikes in their 900 lineup. The CP3 inline triple engine is borderline perfection, with so much guts and grunt that it's extremely entertaining to ride on the road with never a dull moment. Now of course, Yamaha have already taken their MT-07 middleweight naked and turned it into the awesome R7 sports bike, and then you've got the MT-10 super naked that's closely related to their R1, so naturally there's a bit of a gap in their lineup where an MT-09 derived R9 would sit perfectly, and I think it'd make for a heck of a bike. What makes us so sure that it'll happen though? Well, back in August 2021, Yamaha copyrighted the names R9 and YZF R9 in the European Union, the UK, the USA, Canada, Australia and New Zealand, so they've gone to quite some effort there, and of course that suggests something of this nature is in the works. But then again, they also copyrighted R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7, R8, R9, R15, R20 and R25, so maybe they are just covering their asses from a copyright perspective, but fingers crossed it's the former. If this bike does happen, then it's another A+ for me, because that engine is so good that I reckon it'd be the ultimate sports bike for the road. Now look, I do like a Royal Enfield, they're great value for money and most of them look pretty great too, but the 350s and the Himalayans for me have always felt a little bit too slow. 20 horsepower in a 200 kilogram bike is always going to feel a little bit light on G-force, and especially when you consider that other bikes at a similar price and capacity can make far more power. So hopefully these rumours and spy shots of a new, more modern liquid-cooled single-cylinder platform from Enfield are true. A roadster style bike has been spied, as well as a new Himalayan, and it's expected to make around 40 to 45 horsepower, which is much more competitive, and also expect a fancier chassis spec and perhaps more tech than you'd normally expect from Royal Enfield, and we could be looking at a whole bunch of awesome new affordable bikes from them. A for this one, because it's exactly what Enfield needed to make them a more serious player against the likes of KTM and Honda. Now I absolutely love the way that KTM motorcycles ride, but I don't always love the looks. They're consistent in their design language, I'll give them that, but if you don't like orange and you don't like insects, then you're probably not going to fall in love with one. Husqvarna, on the other hand, a brand that KTM own, make fantastic looking variations on KTM bikes with a sweet looking Scandi style that balances modern and traditional almost perfectly. Now the best bike in KTM's lineup, at least for road riding in my opinion, is the 890 Duke, because it's super quick, the engine packs a massive kick, but also the handling is razor sharp, and so this rumoured Husqvarna VIPULA 901 interpretation of it could well be my idea of the perfect naked bike. Now the spy shots are looking pretty good, as well as a more upright semi-scrambler Svartpillen version, so hopefully this comes to fruition this side of 2024, but I think I'll still have to go for a B on this one, because it's basically just a body kit on an existing bike, and you can bet that it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the KTM as well. Now another absolutely banging road bike is the Aprilia RS660, which I reviewed on the channel a couple of months back, and I don't think I've ever ridden a sports bike that feels so comfortable before. It can be a bit of a beast when you want it to be, but it's also not going to put you back out if you just want to take a gentle cruise to the shops, and so it's been a hot seller along with the Tuono upright flat barred version, and so it looks like Aprilia are trying to capitalize on their success with a smaller 440cc version of each set for sale in Asia. Now patent filings show a parallel twin engine that's thought to put out between 45 and 50 horsepower, and a test bike has been spied out on the road in China, presumably where it would be produced. Certainly looks cool, and more affordable bikes are great, but I think I'll still have to go for a C on this one, because the full 660 is right in the sweet spot of performance for me. me, and the price is already pretty decent too. Yamaha's XSR 900 is one of the most sporty and performance-orientated retros on the market, with the same CP3 inline triple engine as the potential R9 I mentioned earlier, and it's got a great chassis dripping with the latest tech too. So why not lean further into that sporty image with a cafe racer fairing? Well, that looks exactly like what Yamaha are going to be doing, having already registered the name XSR GP in Japan, and I for one would love to see it. Still, I think I'll go B here because it's just a fancy paint job and a fairing on an existing bike. Sorry, just a quick interruption here. I was just about to upload this video today, and then I got an email from Yamaha's PR company saying they have just made this available as an accessory, and it'll be called the XSR 900 Racer. So this is less of a rumor now and an actual reality. Now on the adventure bike side, I've been massively looking forward to more details on the MV Agusta Lucky Explorer 9.5, because as a Triumph Tiger 800 owner, I absolutely love 3-cylinder powered adventure bikes. And this thing looks amazing with sort of semi-retro inspired styling and the typical MV Agusta flair. But perhaps most intriguing would be the engine. It's apparently going to be a new 950cc unit and more so tuned for mid-range and torque, and I think that's something that's been lacking in the MV lineup. You see, their current triples like the Brutale, the Dragster, the Super Veloce, the F3 are all really revvy and totally bonkers to ride, and so it'd be nice to see something a little bit more day-to-day usable in their lineup. And also, perhaps the introduction of this bike would lead to more 950 powered models, which are just a little bit more chilled, but still with that MV design and looks. A on excitement for this one because a 120 horsepower triple cylinder adventure bike with a proper serious off-road spec looks like it'd be a hoot to ride. But is there any adventure bike or motorcycle in general more anticipated than the new version of the BMW GS? This bike is a bestseller across the globe, and this looks like a massive leap forward with a complete redesign. This is huge news and A+ excitement levels, and so this one deserves a video of its own, which we put out a while back, so I'll link to it on the screen now. You can give it a click, give it a watch, let me know what you think. Also, let me know which bike on this list you're most looking forward to down in the comments below. Many thanks for watching today, and I'll see you in the next one.